I know many of you are familiar with spheres in the basic form, so let's just step it up just a little bit to some fruits and vegetables, my favorites, as a way to practice. So now that we know how to make the scribble marks, how do we actually apply them onto a form to create some form and some value? The first thing that I want to do is look at whatever it is I'm drawing. So in this case, I'm doing an orange. And in the same way that we did when we were practicing oil paint, I want to look for the different planes, which signify the different values. So here I've marked out the shadow of the orange. I've marked out these two highlight shapes. Everything else around is the midtone. And then I have the stem indicated here and the little cast shadow here on the bottom. This is the first thing that you want to do in pencil. At this stage, you want to make sure that everything looks accurate. If the drawing isn't right here, it's not going to get better. It's going to be a lot harder to make it better once we go in with pen. So to illustrate this, I've just copied it over here. And the first thing I'm going to do for myself is give myself a value scale. So in the same way that we did before, I'm going to scribble until I get an even progression of values here. And this is mostly just for my reference, sort of see what values I'm operating within. So if I look at the picture of the orange, even my darkest value is really only here. And that's good for me to know. And then my highlight will be somewhere between here and here. So I'm going to start with my darks. And I'm going to start in the center of the orange and making really loose scribbles. I'm going to start building up that value. Going over and over and over and over and over again. I can see that there's a little bit of highlight in here on the orange peel, so I'm just not going to touch it. I'm going to maybe just be a little bit lighter there, but keep going darker around. And I'm going to build this up evenly with very little pressure until I feel like I've captured that value more or less. So yeah, I'm going to stop right here. Now I'm going to move on to my midtone. So branching out, again, not pressing very hard. In terms of how big the scribbles need to be, it can be as big or as small as you want to be. I'd say the most important thing is that it's neat and fairly consistent. I'm going around my highlights here, coming up. Then I'm going to notice that it gets a little bit lighter as I'm coming up the sides. Really spending half of my energy looking at the paper and half of my energy looking back at the drawing. Go ahead and put in the cast shadow. And then I'll kind of just go in and try to blend some of these values a little bit more so it doesn't look as jack-o'-lantern-y. When I get up to the stem here, we're looking at a lot of tiny sections. So I'm going to just mark those little values I see. I see there's a little dark one, so I'm going to do a little dark squiggle. There is another little dark dot down here, dark squiggle. And then there's a dark squiggle on the other side. And then there are some darker sections radiating out. Again, all with squiggles and scribbles, not with line. And then I'm just going to keep refining, just keep looking, layering, layering, layering. This is a really slow process. And there you have it. So step one is going to be with pencil, draw. Draw the major values. I like to divide them into highlight, light, midtone, and shadow. Number two is value scale. So prepare a value scale on top of your drawing to get you going and to have some sort of comparison to see if you're marking in the right values. And step three is to scribble away.